What is the mindset of a protector? One thing alone can make the difference between failure and success: your mindset. This podcast was created for protectors in the fields of law enforcement, security, and executive protection. Tune in every week where we look in the mirror to make real changes and learn how to achieve greatness by tapping into the SENTINEL mindset. This episode is brought to you by The Arena. The Arena focuses on helping law enforcement and security professionals achieve their ultimate work experience, curriculum, and fitness goals. Visit thearenatoronto.com. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this amazing, fantastic day. We have a special segment called
The Protector's DNA. What would you do?
Where we critique and also give constructive criticism or applause on videos in the protection industry. Today, we have a very special guest, a repeat guest. We have Shawn Cooper, who is an executive protection specialist. This man has a whole entire catalog of training under his belt. And the one thing that I've always loved about Shawn is that it doesn't matter if he's had training, he continues to sharpen his skills, which is a huge piece. Shawn, welcome to the show today, man.
Constantine, thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Amazing. And I know, Shawn, you've been super busy doing everything that you're doing. I know that there's a world behind Shawn that we're not going to get into right now. It's for behind closed doors, but you do a lot of work in the protection industry. Like for yourself, Shawn, why, just because I brought it up, why do you train this much?
Because I want to be the best that I can be. Like, whether I want to be a sprinter, you need to do the powerlifting for the explosive energy. You need to do the endurance for that, sprinting. You train so that you can bring home the gold medal. In the security industry, maybe there's not a gold medal to bring home, but I have many repeat clients that, I'm sure that exists with other professionals. But it's just one of those things that I kind of hold to a very high level.
Okay, good. Yeah. And I know your standard is high, which is so fitting that we're going to be watching this video and critiquing today. So what we're going to be watching today, ladies and gentlemen, is a video taken from someone's phone, not ours, at the Toronto International Film Festival. It is one of the most prestigious environments in our city, happening yearly. Our organization has participated in this many times. However, I have found that this year, some things were a little bit different. And at the end of the day, I do know that always cost is associated many times to a decision in our industry. Security doesn't make you money, right? It costs money, but having the right security in place will create an environment where you don't maybe have to go to court, or you don't have to spend even more money than you anticipated because of that decision that you made. Shawn, any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on having the right people? Because again, let me ask you this one question as a security expert. Is executive protection, the skills of the executive protection individual, are they the same as just general security?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Given what we're going through in the world right now, I'm taking on a few calls, consulting with people who are in a place in their life where they have a multi-dollar business, and they put off security for years and years and years, but now because of kind of world conflict and everything else, they feel that their culture is being threatened, and they have to take kind of advanced measures to make sure that they can continue to have the quality of life that they do and run their business the way they do without kind of external complications. So not to put anybody in the security industry down or those that are diving into this industry, but executive protection, a lot of it is planning. A lot of it is doing the advanced work and always kind of in the back of your mind saying, what if this happens? What if this happens? So you're mentally prepared. And somewhat, if you're mentally prepared, then your body knows emotions that you're going to go through if an attack or if something happens. It's not just going to the site, okay, this is the front door, this is the rear door, this is the way that we're going to take in to get into the theater, speaking about the TIFF building here. There's a lot more that goes behind the scenes. There's a lot more planning. Like I don't know, if I was to break it down, planning would be, probably 60 to 70% of the actual executive protection detail. The rest is kind of, you showing up with the client, quickly scanning the crowd, trying to identify different body language, that type of thing that could trigger something like, it's like, okay, this individual here, I don't like their body positioning. I don't like their stance. It looks like they're going to try to do something.
Okay.
So,
I love that. And to me, this is kind of also for those listening, we want clients also to listen to this, because we're going to showcase some things and some concepts of what you want to look for in an individual. Remember, the person or the entity that you hire to represent your organization is either going to make you look good or it's going to create a lot of problems for you, okay? And it's almost until something bad happens where we get your attention. Well, let's take a look at this next video, Shawn, and see where things could have gone wrong from this situation. All right, let's put it on my... All right, Shawn, pause for a second. Describe right now, first off the get-go, what we're seeing here.
So to me right now, it looks like the back of the TIFF building in Toronto. Okay. Suburban that has been parked. The client, Dakota Johnson, getting out of the rear seat. What appears to be her security
Describe
or protector.
This one's an interesting for me, Shawn, because usually executive protection, there's two types of looks. The first look is the suited formal look, right? And typically speaking, at a premiere or a high-profile festival, that's where you'll see that kind of look, is the suit look. Yeah. The second look that you'll see is more of a casual look, but that's to the environment. If you're a principal, by the way, for those listening, a principal is your VIP. Just giving you guys some EP world terminology. If he is running, you're not going to be running in a suit. You'll be running in a jogging suit, for example, right? Okay. What are we seeing here right now at the Film Festival?
Yeah, so this individual, large individual, black hoodie, side bag, like a over the shoulder bag, ear, iPod, some kind of headset over one ear.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a professional CP radio. He's like not talking.
Yeah, and I mean, we both know of this individual.
Yes.
Know a little bit about his background. I'm sure he's working solo, so why he has a earbud in his ear,
right?
Maybe to communicate with the driver of the vehicle. Who knows?
Okay. All right, and he also has it looks like the tattoos.
Yeah.
On his head.
Yeah. So it looks like he's well inked.
Okay. And by the way, Shawn, it'd be very difficult, I'm just saying, for the public to maybe identify this person as security just because of how casual he looks.
Well, I don't think there would be any mistake there. I mean, he's kind of an intimidating looking person,
right?
Because of his bigger size than average person. I think it would be safe to assume that he was Dakota's security.
Okay.
In this image that we're looking at right now, he's got his back to the crowd, which I can understand if he was assisting Dakota getting out of the vehicle, making sure that she didn't trip on the step, or her dress wasn't in a position that a lot of photographers out there try to get those candid shots that expose bad images of celebrities so they can make money. So to me, he wasn't doing any of that, and just his body position right now is he has no idea what's behind him, who's behind him, what they're doing behind him.
Right. So at any given moment, let's talk about that for a quick second. When your back is turned to a crowd, for those listening, how can you find out what someone has in their hands if you're not even looking? He's literally just looking right now at her directly, which means that pie that may be coming across his shoulder into her face, or that weapon, he would not be able to detect that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if we've looked at recent trends with a lot of performers in concerts and stuff like that, fans are throwing cell phones, fans are throwing, bras, whatever. So, I mean, if that's a growing trend, I mean, somebody could have glitter bombed her,
Right.
done whatever, and this individual, the protector, wouldn't have been able to prevent anything, or push her back into the vehicle,
Yes.
to prevent her getting exposed or put into a embarrassing situation.
Okay, kick it off, Matt. Let's see a little bit more of this video, where it's going. All right, describe it, Shawn, what you're seeing right now. More.
Yeah, so she's signing autographs. People are reaching over the protector. Again, he just got hit in the head with one of the photos. He's totally unaware of what's happening behind him.
Okay. Okay.
He, in my opinion, he could have performed that much better by turning around, facing the crowd. He can still give Dakota the area of movement in between the door of the vehicle and the frame of the vehicle. So she'd have 3-4 feet to move safely in that area. He would control what's coming in. Because people are trying to get photos, or they're trying to get their picture signed, selfies, whatever. And some of those are on like a hard Bristol board. Mm-hmm. So, somebody's jamming that in your face.
Right.
It could poke her in the eye, cut her face, whatever. So there's a lot that could have happened. It didn't happen, but could have.
Let me ask you this. If somebody, a seasoned CP professional, what would their position be right now?
Well, I mean, even from the positioning of the vehicle.
Because that's okay. Let's stop there for a second. That's actually, I think, a big key here. I'm leading here. Would an advance on the location could have avoided the situation he's in right now? Meaning, as in, typically speaking, when an advance happens, and I know we did a lot of them during TIFF, you're trying to find areas where maybe there's not a lot of crowds, or plan Bs and Cs in case you go to A. Oh wow, there's a crowd here. Let's go to B. It seems like she's being escorted out of the vehicle in the middle of the heat. So in an advance, right, in a situation like this, I don't know, by the way, I only see one security here. I'm not sure if there's two or not from this angle. But just from the advance perspective, what would have been done differently if you could have seen this? And I know, look, it's always hindsight 2020, right? You're looking at something, what I would have done when you're in the moment. But look, you just said something very important. You said planning is one of the core key criterias for EP work.
Yep.
So in a situation like this, what would you have tried to have done?
It's not even a matter of try. So, I mean, this TIFF, I was at the same building with a different personality, mm-hmm. and those bays that you can see in the background, you can actually drive in.
Okay.
So that vehicle could have backed into one of those bays or driven straight in.
Right.
The bay door would have closed. Now you're in a secure environment.
And how would you have gotten into the bay? How would you have gained access?
You would call up whoever from the TIFF light box who's in charge of talent and whatnot.
So that's the advanced part.
Yeah. Explain who you are.
Yes.
Make an appointment that is convenient for them, and come in, check the area out, because obviously she's probably going to a premiere.
Yes.
So she needs to be escorted from street level to second floor, third floor, where the theaters are.
Okay.
And you're usually going back a house. So, there's a certain dance that you have to do going through the TIFF light box.
Right.
So.
Okay, so that's the first part. That's the vehicle. So to begin with, the first thing is that vehicle most likely would have not have been there. You would have had it positioned in a different area.
It would have been in one of the bays, or it would have been positioned that it can take off quickly if there was a threat.
Okay.
Right now, it looks like the driver's forward ability is limited. I don't know what's behind him, but I mean, he could have kind of backed in, so he could have pulled out either to the left or to the right.
Yes.
Because that's a back street.
Yes. Well, what's scary about this is if something, remember, it's always when something bad happens. If something bad happens here right now, really, where is he going? He's surrounded by people right now, right? Yep. So we've already determined the vehicle wouldn't be here, but it is here.
Yep.
So now in a situation where you're stuck, Shawn, now let's just say the fault is of the driver. He just got lost and he ended up here now, and the crowds are coming out, and you're deeming the crowd to be safe, and you want to get the talent out. Where would your position be right now in a situation like this? Because his back is to everyone.
Yeah, so I probably would have brought Dakota out on the driver's side.
Okay.
So instead of kind of the strong side or like the passenger side, I would have brought her out on the driver's side. So at least now we have that vehicle as a barrier. Sure, people can come around the front, people can come around the back, but if I was operating solo, maybe I could get the driver to step out of his vehicle, control people so they can't come around the front of the vehicle.
Yes.
I would control the rear. Also, TIFF has their own security management team.
Yeah.
They could have supported with this movement. But, just looking at the situation here, I would have, opened the door, got her onto the street safely, and then face the crowd so I could see how many people I'm dealing with, where are people looking? What kind of expression? Are they true fans? Are they people that are just trying to get an autograph so they can sell it? Or, you also have to look into the stalking aspect.
Okay, so Shawn, here's what we'll do. Just because I know right now we're pressed for time a little bit. I want to ask you if you can just share with the audience. We obviously heard from you right now, and I am in full agreement right now with what could have happened here. Again, if something happened here, if she was assaulted, if security were assaulted, this is the reason why planning would have wanted to come and take place. This is why positioning is so important. And for those companies. So for those clients that are hiring companies, because they need security, right? I need somebody for here. The first thing that they need to understand is not all security is the same. It's all levels of skill. It's like saying, I want someone to play basketball. Well, do you want an NBA player or do you want a grade 2? Because that's literally the difference in security when it comes to skill level. It's the same application. So what advice would you give to the client that is in charge? Maybe it's a publicist, maybe it's a studio, maybe it's an event planning organization. They have talent that they're responsible for. They need to make sure that they have security taken care of. What would be some information, Shawn, that you would give them saying, make sure on the fundamentals that you at least have 1, 2, or 3, whatever you want to say right now, before you make sure you book that company? What would that advice be?
Well, first, they need to give themselves time to do research. So I'm pretty sure that this detail happened very, very quickly.
Yes.
Like in a matter of maybe half a day.
Okay.
So, there was no vetting going on other than maybe her publicist or whoever she contacted knew somebody who knows somebody, and then that's how this formed.
Okay.
But definitely you have to give your time. You have to have time to do your due diligence. Speak to several different companies, get your quotes, get the experience of, the personnel that they're thinking of putting on a detail.
Okay.
Like, as you said, you could have your grade 2, you could have your college, or you could have your MBA player.
Yes.
So it's whatever fits your price line.
Yes.
Everything's controlled by a budget.
It is. And one of the ways you can find out about the individual is in the industry, it's very normal for us as an organization to be asked for a CP or EP bio, right? Mm-hmm. Which would include the picture of the individual, a professional picture, with a bio of his training, and also some of the work that they've done. Doesn't have to list the direct celebrities' names or the politicians or the business or the VIP. It's just a body of work. That's the number one indicator. Send me the bio, right? Because you know what you're going to get right away. Yeah. So that's good that you're saying that. Anything else, Shawn?
Yeah, and I mean, most of the people that are in the protection game for the long haul, they're taking the training. So they are known kind of on an international level as well. So, you look at your top agencies that are in the US or wherever, talk to them. You can say, hey, I have a client that's coming to Toronto. Do you have somebody that you can recommend or put me in contact with? They could give you one of their agents, or they said, hey, I know a couple people in Toronto. Let me make contact with them, see if they're available, and I'll get back to you. Okay. So it's a little bit of networking as well.
Okay. Well, perfect. Shawn, look, I want to thank you for this. And we're going to be doing this more often. Anyone has a clip or video of anything at all that you'd like us to review and critique, you will learn from this. You will gain perspective that was never there before. And Shawn, I want to thank you for what you're doing all the time. You are a protector. And we talk about having the protector's DNA. I know if I was to open up your arm like in Terminator 2, I would see not a cyborg arm, but I would see protector DNA cells. So thank you for what you do.
Thanks, Constantine. Thanks for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic day and stay safe. Take care. Thank you for joining me in today's podcast. This podcast was created for protectors in the fields of law enforcement, executive protection, security, and anyone looking to level up their mindset. If you are learning from this podcast and you're enjoying it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at the SENTINEL Mindset. That's a zero-cost way to support us. In addition, please subscribe to the podcast both on Spotify and Apple. And on both Spotify and Apple, you can leave us up to a 5-star review. If you have questions for me or comments about the podcast or guests you would like me to consider on the SENTINEL Mindset, please post all comments on YouTube. I do read all the comments. Please also check out our sponsors, thearenatoronto.com. The Arena was created to help all those in the fields of law enforcement, security, and all that achieve their fitness goals. I want to thank our producer, Matthew Doyle, and creative supports, Jaslene Singh, who help me with this podcast every week. We value your feedback and are here to support you. Tune into the SENTINEL Mindset every week where we look in the mirror to make real changes and explore what it takes to achieve greatness in your craft.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.